Handstands. They're kind of like dips, and you might look at the handstand and go, why would I ever want to do that skill? I've never done it, and I don't like being upside down. That's a good point. So you're talking to someone who had a crap freestanding handstand 8 years ago because my lumbar spine was so jacked up. I'll show you a picture of that. What I learned along the way is that getting a freestanding handstand actually means improving the integrity of the spine. And I'll give you some examples. When you're sitting at a desk all day, for example, we've got a lot of people coming in here that are sedentary in their jobs, and they're coming here to train and get out of pain and develop skills. So they kind of go, well, why would I want to do a handstand? It's like whether you get the handstand or not is a little bit irrelevant. It's the stuff you have to do along the way in hopes of getting it. Okay, so when you sit at a desk all day, you will develop shoulder forward posture. So your arm's going to get internally rotated, scapula just gets kind of like protracted and weak, and your neck's going to travel forward. So if your default posture is like this and you're coming in here to learn handstands and you just try to do handstands, you'll fail every time. And here's why. So I'm going to stick this posture and I'm going to try to do handstand. Like, you can't do it because you have no flexion. And in order to get into a handstand, you have to have strong shoulder flexion. The other thing that's important along the way is lumbar spine stuff. So a lot of folks are very long and weak through the hamstrings, and they're short and tight through the hip flexors. And if you're stuck in this position, so like a hyperlordotic position and then real tight through here, and you're like this, you can imagine, like, you won't even be able to put your head into getting into that handstand. So I'll show you a couple drills that we use to improve the line, it's called, so that you do have a chance of getting into a handstand, but what you'll actually get along the way is decreased pain in the neck, thoracic spine, and lumbar spine. And those are 3 huge benefits of training the freestanding handstand. All right, so one of the handstand line drills that we do for the shoulders and the thoracic spine, we call it the PVC pipe dislocate. It's to train flexion. So when you do this here, you don't want to treat it just like you're blah, 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 blah. It's not like the chatty, boring warm-up drill, okay? You've got to emphasize a posterior pelvic tilt along with strong flexion. So if you're here and not locked, you can do this all day and it's easy, but as soon as you correct that posture, you tuck your butt under, that's the posterior pelvic tilt, and then you really work on pressing in that flexion angle and getting here. It's a really good shoulder opener. And most of you will get tremendous benefit just from doing this drill properly. Start with a wide grip, and then as you get stronger and more mobile, narrow the grip. So that's like, it's a very common drill that we do here, but it's like handstand prep drill number 1 is flexion, and it helps to open up the shoulders, the thoracic spine, and correct the very common anterior tilt in the lower back. The second one is focused on what we call compression. So that's the ability of your low back to actually flex, which was one of the drills that saved me back in the day. So when you're doing any kind of sit-up work, you can be a bit sloppy about it and just like stay here and have your back flat on the floor. But what we actually want to work towards is that your sternum is tucked down towards your pelvis, and you really feel the lower abdomen kick in, and you really feel the low back compress. You'll know the difference between here and here as soon as you feel it. You can probably see it. That's flat. This is getting into a more flexed position. And as you get stronger there, you'll be able to do more with that position. You'll be able to rock. You'll be able to do things like tuck-ups, etc. Because if your back is locked in that arch position, you won't be able to do those drills because you'll be too busy flopping around. So my point is that the drills that we use for handstand training will correct a lot of problems that you're having that are causing pain, and eventually you'll probably get a freestanding handstand. So hope that makes sense.